And here we are. We're live. We're waiting on the six-pack guys to check in. So to start, we're going to go through the Super State real quick and discuss that. Looks like we got 6D teams: Breeden, Enemy of the State, Nasty Hooks, Running Rebels, Tiger Fitness, Extreme. What's your thoughts, Rhino?
The six teams are all pretty good, so it should be extremely competitive again. Um, I assume the Steve's BP guys are going to be playing with Nasty Hooks this weekend, which is going to help them tremendously. But until somebody knocks off Tiger Fitness, I'd say they're the favorites in the WSLD division.
Yeah, I'll go with Tiger Fitness as well. I don't want to get any help from Red like you did.
All right, right.
We got Bad Draw, Barrel Tech, Dayton Jets, Funk, Goats, Mayhem, Nasty Boys, Now You Red Legs, OTF, Players, Real Mafia, SUAP, Smash Bros, Team Sting, Woodpecker, Tribe, Tripods. Derek, I see you in there. We'll grab you in a second. What do you think about the E division?
Again, the E is always competitive. You got anybody can win on any given weekend. OTF's playing really well right now, coming off a national win 2 weeks ago. So I'm gonna take them as the favorites.
All right, just to be different, so we don't go back to back same things. I'm gonna go with Nasty Boys.
Yeah, they should be full strength this weekend, I'd imagine. I know 2 weeks ago they didn't have Josh Tolson there, so he helps tremendously.
Absolutely. Relentless, American Made, Empire, Exotic, Free Agents, Funk, Woodpeckers, Outcasts.
I'm gonna take Joey Scarf and Empire again. I know they won a couple weeks ago, and I didn't get to mention it. Congratulations to them guys. He sent me a recap, and I didn't get a chance to do it, so I apologize for that. But they had a nice run 2 weeks ago, so congrats to all those guys.
Yeah. Again, just to be different, I'll go with the Woodpeckers. Um, I did see Joey Scarf arrive late last Saturday, so I got a chuckle out of that. So make sure you're on time this week, Joey. Anything else for the WSL Super State before we?
No, I think it's all going to be at East, I assume, but
Oh, is
maybe
it?
not. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't see a ton of teams, so I think they can all get it done at East, but
Yeah.
maybe not.
Good luck to who all is playing. And now I'm going to bring in Derek. Derek's from Six Pack. I'm not real familiar with Six Pack, to be honest, but somebody reached out. Was that the sponsor, Derek, or who was that?
Yeah, Bart.
Yep. He said he's been around for 50 years. It sounded interesting to me, so I was interested to hear the story.
Yeah, him and his brother ran the team for a long time. He passed away August 26, 2020. Been a little rough on Bart, but we're keeping things going for him, trying to get 50th year through and see what happens after that.
1 year at a time, like the rest of us.
Yep, it's tough these days.
So you guys are not quite Cincinnati. You're Louisville. Is that correct?
Yeah, Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay. So 50 years ago, how long have you been with them?
I started in 2017.
Okay.
I've been a manager the last 2 years.
Yeah. Have you guys been mostly E that at that point, right? WCL.
Yeah, they've played C, D, and E over the years.
Sure.
We've been playing a lot of WSLE probably the last 5 years. We kind of got away from U-Trip. U-Trip in Louisville has went down over the last 6 or 7 years. It's not like it used to be. So we kind of switched it up and went WSLE. We like going to Panama City. But yeah, mainly WSL. We just started playing U-Trip this year again.
Okay. How many events do you guys play per year on average?
We're probably 15, 18.
15, 18?
Yeah, this year probably be closer to 18, 19.
Mostly around Louisville, or how much do you guys
I
travel?
mean, we mainly play in Ohio, honestly. I mean, WSL in Ohio. This year's been a lot of U-Trip in Ohio. We went to Indy. We're going to Indy here in a couple weekends for GSL State.
Someone just asked you guys still play WSL.
What? It's funny. We was planning on playing WSL. They bumped us to D this year, and WSLD is just tough, man.
Yeah, I can relate. So why were you guys bumped?
Well, we went to Florida last year. We lost in the winners final 8. They canceled the losers bracket the next day, so we really never even get to finish. And then they had a meeting supposedly, and I had 2 D players. Chandler was a D plus player. We appealed to get him dropped to D, so we could play E. And they changed. We had all E players, 2 D players. After that meeting, we had 6 D players. So they bumped Morgan Miller. They bumped Tony Gravens. Tony Gravens has played E pretty much his whole career. But they bumped a couple other guys, and we've been playing D. We have no C chips in WSL. So without your C chips in WSLD, it's tough, especially on a national stage. So we kind of stayed away from that. I think we played 3 or 4 WSL tournaments. I think we're 2 and 4, 2 and 5 against D teams.
Right. How'd you guys do? Oh, good, Ryan.
No, so down in Panama, wasn't there a controversial call on the loss down there in the final?
There was. That wasn't the end of the game, but they had already changed which I thought was crazy. They had a 45-minute time limit in the winners final 8 game, which was crazy. I mean, that's 4 innings in most games. JT Berry slid home. Guy hit a triple. JT Berry slid home. The guy was basically standing in our batter's box for a play at home. And I have a picture of it still. He was clearly safe, and then they doubled the guy off at third to end the inning. So winning time, I think the tying run was on third at that point. And then they got some more the next day, and they canceled the whole losers bracket.
I think if they would have played the next day, I think you guys were poised to make a run because you guys.
Yeah, there's no doubt we were one of the better teams. We played a one world order team down there, and they were legit. We beat them in 10 innings, I think, the game before we lost. The team that beat us won, so we were right there for sure. MTS was tough that year too. We would have probably had to get through them, but it was a pretty good tournament, other than getting canceled.
Yeah,
I think that's the weekend we were down there. I remember it raining a bunch.
Yeah, it did rain a lot.
We were on the turf, luckily. I'm guessing you guys were not.
We were back and forth.
Okay.
Pretty much. We was at Frank Brown most games, I believe. Can't remember if we played one on the turf or not. I think we did.
Okay. So you guys played here a couple weekends ago. How'd that go?
We played up there this past weekend. They canceled the big tournament and had like an 8-team pool play. It was pretty competitive, I thought. The 8 teams that were in it were good. I mean, Creekers was a E team, but they played well Sunday. We ended up finishing second to Wellman. They put it on us in the ship. We had our center fielder pitching. It's the first time he's pitched for us all year. He did really well. Kept us in most of the games. We hit it pretty good. I had Morgan Miller hit 866. Josh Spradlin hit 800. JT Berry hit 789. Jeff Flood hit 736. And Ryan Hayes hit 692. So we were whacking it pretty good until that ship game.
I'm a big Ryan Hayes fan.
Yeah, he's a good guy. We've only had him for 2 tournaments this year. He's super busy. But Ryan's a pretty awesome guy for sure.
What's the age of most of your players?
I'd say our average age is probably 36.
Okay.
We have 8 guys. If you count the Mike Flaherty and Denny Scott, my assistant coaches, we got 9 guys off his team playing 35 and over this year.
Gotcha. So getting bumped at this point is difficult because you're not. I mean, athletically, you're not on the way up, kind of more on the way down, right?
For sure.
In theory.
We got some youthful 35-year-olds though.
Sure, absolutely.
Me, not so much.
Yeah, I feel it. So is there anything else you want to talk about the six-pack history through the years of the
Yeah, I'll run down. Bart sent me some stats. He can tell you what happened in the 1985 game in the seventh inning and what the score was. I mean, he's pretty good, but he sent me some stats. I'll read them off to y'all. Win-loss record: 2,052 wins, 1,450 losses. He's played in. They've won 55 tournaments. Runner-up 54 times. Played in 75 world or nationals, C, D, and E. 7 different states. They've won 1 world national. I think it was a national. 2 runners-up in worlds and nationals. 3 thirds, 5 fourth place finishes. Won 4 states, 7 runners-up in state, 3 thirds, and 9 fourths. So not bad, yeah.
I mean, it's impressive that he just kept all those numbers throughout the years.
He definitely has a shrine at his house. He definitely knows it. You ask him what the score is. I don't care what inning it is. If you're playing, he usually knows the score.
Gotcha. That's good. Hopefully, I run into him at the park at some point. Rhino, do you have anything else for Derek before we move on?
So I know we have a Norento's Cincinnati Softball Hall of Fame. Do you guys have something like that down in Kentucky?
Bart does a little Hall of Fame for himself for just six-pack. I'm sure they do have some type of he's got, I can't remember what it was. They did a little something, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, where they recognized Bart and six-pack and Chris. It was pretty good. I think they actually got to coach like the little 25 and under team against each other. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I never had a conversation with him until the Kentucky State. He showed up at Kenton Lakes and he came and hang out with us a little bit. And he was a good guy to talk to.
Yeah, he's definitely been around a long time, man. He takes care of his players. He pays for all our tournaments. We do fundraising and stuff just to help out with Florida and the house and stuff. But he definitely takes care of us. That's for sure.
So my last question I got for you: how good is JT Berry?
JT Berry, he's as good as, I don't know if he's as good as Chris Berry, but he's damn close, man. I mean, he makes some plays up the middle that most guys get out of the way of, and he leads off for us. He's in the 700s almost every weekend. There's no doubt that he could play at a higher level for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely a tough player.
Yeah, Josh Pradlin is tough too. He's a Marine. We just picked him up this year. He's a good ball player. Jeff Flood, he don't make many outs. But yeah, we got a pretty good squad. Hopefully we can put it together, man. We've struggled as of late. This past weekend, we kind of got back on stuff a little bit, but hopefully we can put it together in the next week for GSL State and Indy.
Are you guys going to Vieira or are you going to Columbus or?
Bart wanted me to put an appeal in for WSLE, so we're kind of waiting on that. I doubt we get dropped, honestly. But if you look at our record at some of the top teams in WSLE, we're right there with them. OTF, those teams, we're like 3-3 against them. You know, Natty Redlegs had our number last year. So I doubt we get dropped. And if we don't get dropped, I doubt we're going to go to Panama for WSLD. We'll probably just go to Vieira.
Hopefully you guys can get dropped, man. It's always a good one. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I think we might get ourselves in trouble this year. Team we got in E, because they punish you after that one home run. But
yeah,
you know, we got some good hitters, so I think we would have a good shot at WSLE going down there and winning the world. I think this team's a little better than last year's team, and especially defensively. So getting everybody there, man, that's been the hard part for me. We got a lot of guys going on vacation, and we're missing my shortstop, third baseman next GSL State, so that'll be tough. But we'll see how it goes.
All right, brother. Good luck. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate you having me.
Take it easy.
All right, baby. See y'all later.
And then we got Mr.
Nice background.
Yeah, Brandon Bellamy. Welcome back.
What's up, buddy?
Not much. You're the only one brave enough to talk Metro today.
We're a week away.
Yep.
Big deal. This is still my favorite tournament of the year every year.
Really? Not the Smokies, not the duels, not the major, nothing?
I would say the Smokies my least favorite tournament of the year.
Really?
Year. Absolutely. It's the only tournament you can go to and put up 55 runs and lose.
I wouldn't like the Smoky either, man. I think it'd be terrible playing. I'm not a home run hitter, but I think it'd be terrible playing defense, just watching home run after home run after home run.
Not much defense. I mean, literally, I think I had 2 ground balls the whole time I was there, and it's just basically you sit there and just watch home run after home run. I want to say the average was like 30 home runs a game, like what we played in. So, it's zero fun, especially for a defensive-minded player like me and you, Rhino. But even if I was a big-time power hitter, I'd still feel like it would be boring.
Is it the same way every year, or is it specifically this year?
I mean, it fluctuates by the ball. I mean, last year I think we got beat by Proton on the show field 5-3, and we were stepping on balls and they weren't going anywhere. This year they used the new hardcore ball that they're going to start using, I think, next year, and way too much ball, way too much ball. So they're going to have to find a happy median eventually, and hopefully it's something close to like what I think is the best ball, which is the Gold Dot Extreme. I think that's the best all-around ball in the game. So for some reason, Dudley can't figure that out.
Nikki saying, brave enough, nobody asked me, Jeff, or Slim. Well, I made a post, Nikki.
And Nikki, hop on in. Tell Nikki to hop on
right
in.
Now if you want.
Let's do it. I was giving Nikki some crap earlier just because they had that pre-round robin, Metro round robin over the weekend, and she posted it as the Metro champions already. I'm like, geez, we don't even have a shot this year.
So you guys got beat by was it a D team or an E team or something? What was it?
I didn't get to play, so fortunately, I'm the one that put us in. Was super excited to play, and then realized that it was the same day that we were having our daughter's birthday party. So
that stuff's not important, man.
Bells, when he first started, that might have been something where we might have done a coin toss. Yeah. Bells now, 10, 12 years into the future, yeah. It's a no-brainer there. I felt bad because I hate bailing on people, but yeah, I guess there's like 4 or 5 of us bailed, and then I don't know who they lost to, but I heard it was an E team. Unacceptable.
So what's your roster look like this year?
Should be playing E.
Yep.
Well, that's true too. What'd you say, Fly?
What's your roster look like this year? Who you got?
We brought back most of everything from last year. The vets like Meecast, Tabs. Out of towner is Phil Matt again. Rex coming back. Rocky will make a appearance, probably more just to hang out. Clay, Cotter. The ads this year really was the Tropics guys. With them folding it, it's a bummer because those are some great games in the Metro as us versus Tropics. But we picked up BB and Cookie for that. So that's 2 nice additions for us for that. We brought back TK. Tyler Kincaid's back with us again. So I guess he did the if you can't beat them, join them thing from last year. So,
who was he with last year?
He was with the Tropics.
Oh, was he? Okay. You guys get Tommy too while you're at it?
Yeah, we got Tommy. We got a hell of a coaching staff. We have like 10 coaches. You name them, they're on our team. So you got everybody from, I think we got Grady, Tommy, Eric Snyder, Larks. You got a player coach in Burke, I guess you can say, Burkhofer. I'm sure Feitner will make an appearance down there, meandering. Same with Forwith. Unfortunately, Chuck Kinney will be there in spirit, I guess, or via helicopter, whatever he's going to plan on doing. I'm sure he'll figure something out to watch it. But him, I don't know. We got a bunch of them. So
I'm honestly surprised you guys didn't make a fat head of Chuck to put him in the dugout.
I'm surprised Chuck didn't do that. I think at one point Chuck said he was going to get one of those airplanes with the banners and just put like free Chuck on it or something and drive it around, like fly it over the Metro and stuff. Typical Chuck move there. So, but yeah, I mean, Chuck's a great dude, man. He's we'll just leave it at that. He's a good dude.
So you guys got some special uniforms this year too, right?
Correct. Yeah, Chuck actually was the one that thought of the idea. So what they're doing is they're kind of doing a little tribute to some of the old school teams from the past. So we're doing a Watanabe uniform, an EMR uniform, and then Lark's got us in with the Cincy softball uniform. So I think that's the first 3, and if our old butts can come back and do it again next year, we'll probably do another 3. So because I'd like to do a lot of the ones that me and Rhino and Fly when you were around, like back in the day, like those teams. I'd love to do a Pure Romance and EAP, like teams like that. So
Yeah, Chuck's banned from the park, Matt. He's not allowed in any park locally. I think even beyond that, I think there's something about Panama or something too. I can't remember what he was telling me, but
he's got. I don't know what's all going on with that. I do know. I think he was. I don't know what it is. I think it's a certain amount of parks around the city, and then obviously like all associations too. So live and learn, Chuck.
except for spoils, he's allowed to go to spoils. That's where he plays leagues.
I think I'm sure spoils. He can probably maybe Triple Creek or something like that.
Yeah, maybe Triple Creek. He didn't mention that. He does play leagues of spoils. He came on here, I think it was last week or the week before, and said it. So yeah,
he might have. They might have caught him on that. Now they won't let him play at spoils now either. Told on himself.
Is he going to be able to play in the corn boil?
That's actually a good question there. So yeah. we're going to run back the corn boil team with the Grady bunch again this year after a year hiatus last year. So we got to take back our crown.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's actually the Metro and the corn boil. Actually, me and Kess were talking about this last night after leagues. Those are the 2 best tournaments of the year, bar none. Especially the older you get. I mean, just the nostalgic just aspect of both those tournaments. Plus, I mean, it's fun. It's usually some decent competition in the corn boil too.
Who's your guys' big competition this year? Is it just you guys and everybody else, or is it
in what, the Open?
Yeah.
Well, now you got the primetime team, which is like I think some of the Van Wert guys and all those Middletown boys that like to walk around with their shirts off. Those guys and like Radich.
Flip, is Flip coming this year?
I don't know. I talked to Flip. I played with him a few weeks ago. He was up in the air. I mean, Flip lives he's like a tour. Like you have to make sure you get him, for that city for that weekend. So I don't know if he's coming in or not. Okay. So who knows? I mean, only people I know that's coming in for that is like Justin Black with the Crown Glove Clutch RV. He'll have that all set up again up front.
Sorry, reading the comments. Who is it?
Justin Black with Clutch, Crown Glove. They were set up last year. That's where kind of Flip and Messer and all of us kind of hung out over there at that RV.
Okay.
So they'll be back for that. But yeah, them, the Beers team, I'm sure they'll be really good. Mike Martin and Bruns and Jordan Rosenbaum, all those guys. So I'm sure they'll have a decent little squad. And then, to be honest, I don't even know how many teams are in it. Usually it's kind of posted. I haven't really dug into it to find how many teams are in the Open, but who knows? I don't know who else is in it.
Nikki said, oh God, I'm messing up. Flip is not coming. Messer will be there.
Who said that?
Nikki.
There you go.
So I got a funny Flip story. So we drew primetime in the opening round, and our leadoff hitter got out. So I used Flip's bat.
Uh-huh.
Got a base hit, get the first base. He's like, that's the first time that bat's been hit. Got a base hit. And I said, do you want me to sign it for you? He tried to light me up every time he came up because I said that to him.
Looking for a reason.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man. He's impressive to watch hit just because, I mean, he can place it pretty much right where he wants it, and it don't matter where it's at. He can hit a hole in the infield or he can split a gap with ease. Like, it's insane. He's a very patient hitter. It's almost hard watching him just because he's so nonchalant.
Yeah, I remember from the Challenge Cup, he was with Team Texas when we were down there, and I remember seeing him hit, and it was impressive. He went going through, by second base, pulling it, hitting it out, whatever he really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not a selfish dude. So, I mean, he'll play the game with the best of them. So, yeah. So I didn't know if he was coming or not. Thanks, Nikki, for that. I figured Messer would come. Messer's always around.
Yeah, I haven't seen the team list either. As far as getting more teams in it, what would your thoughts be on it? I know we've discussed that in the past.
It's like in the Open, you mean, just in general, or the Metro in general?
The Open specifically.
I don't know, and you can correct me on this one. Do they still do the discount if you play in one division? You can get in cheaper, or no?
I don't know for sure, but We'll go with yes.
So
But
if
even
that,
so,
I'm sure Nikki will she'll
yeah.
respond to that here soon. But yeah, I mean that was always the big thing. It's always hard to attract some of the mid level, the C and D, teams for the Open, just because I mean who wants to spend that money and go up there and do that? But I mean I'd love to see more teams in it. I think it's great anyways. I mean it's for us it's the only time we get to play all year back home for the most part.
Nikki, he asked if you play in the C or something, do you get a discount for playing in the Open? Oh, okay, here we go. No discount for multiple, just lower cost of playing Open. Okay.
There you go. See, that would probably be something I would look into for that, just to, or entice it. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I think the nostalgic part of playing in the Open when us three first started, it was just cool. Like, oh man, we get to play against the big time teams back then. That's kind of gone anymore, just for the simple fact that I mean, there's only a few out of town. The bigger teams in the Open anymore. Everything else is kind of spread throughout the rest of the division. So, I mean, I love it. I love playing against new competition, and we never get anybody's easy game. We always get everybody's tough game because they want to upset us and do well against us. So, and I love seeing the new talent coming up. I mean, there's always Metro's fun to watch just because you get to see the new young talent coming through. So.
That's always the fun part, is the upsets. Didn't you guys get upset a few years back? 'Cause I remember seeing you lose a bracket pretty early. I can't remember who knocked you down.
Tropics beat us the last 2 years to put us in losers bracket.
Okay.
Then 2 years ago, unfortunately, that whole situation. And then last year, we got to come back and double dip them. So, but yeah, other than that, I don't know. I think with the team that we've had for the last 6-7 years, I think that was our only loss was the Tropics. I think we ran through it the other years, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I don't know. I mean, heck, this is 17th Metro. Does that sound right? No, that's not right, is it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, we're getting old then.
No, we're definitely old. We're definitely old.
Yeah, I heard your comment about the 35 on the decline fly to the other guy.
What'd I say?
You said something about, I guess he said the average age was like 36 on the team, and you're like, oh, then they're on the decline athletically. I kind of took that, to heart.
Not everybody, but I mean, usually, right?
Dude, I know. We're all on the decline, man. Father
Yeah.
Time gets you every time.
So I'm probably going to get crucified for this, but I had a thought on how to get teams, maybe get more teams in the Open Metro. So on the circuit, when you play in the competitive division, you bid on home runs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you'll get more teams more likely to play against you guys if it was less home runs. Because at any time you guys can hit 10 home runs and all of a sudden you're down, then you get run ruled in the fourth. It's a tie game, and all of a sudden in the bottom of the fifth inning you guys hit 10 home runs and you're done. Mm-hmm. You're standing on the field.
Yeah.
So my thought was, if you did a bid system, you get 10 in the Open, or is it 12?
You get, Nikki can correct me, I think it's 10 home runs, and it's a 12-run rule now. It's not 10-run rule anymore.
So my thought process was, low bid wins. You bid anywhere from 5 to 10 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
And you play it that way. Because, I mean, realistically, with 10 home runs, you guys are extremely tough to beat. But if you get a good U-Trip C team and you're playing with 5 home runs, there's a chance that they could upset you.
That's very true. Reminds me a lot of a tournament we play up in Michigan it's in Frankenmuth. They call it the Muth Major. It's this year was the first year they did U-Trip, but you get 4 home runs, and it's on 280-foot fields. And it's like me, Austin Dahl, Phil Matt, Cass, a bunch of the Amish kids, all that. And it's actually an equalizer, because if we hit those home runs quick, we're in trouble because we can't keep it in as well as the other teams can. And it actually does. I wouldn't mind that, to be honest. I wouldn't.
So everybody's gripe would be, well, when you're out of home runs, then you hit the middle. But I mean, you run the risk of that whether you get 10 home runs or not. I mean, that's just part of the game.
That's part of the game. I mean, it is what it is. That's just unfortunate. That's part of the game. And that's you see that probably more at the lower levels, the middle shots.
You look at unlimited home run tournament, and Johnny Leap still got blown up.
Yeah, down there in Burkesville, yeah.
I mean, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I mean, there was a lot of middle shots in the Smokies. I saw a handful of them. So, I mean, you're always going to have it. That's just part of the game. But, yeah, I mean, I don't mind that. I mean, the big thing about the 10 home runs, and I always thought it should be 15 run rule for the simple fact that, I mean, if you're away, you're at a huge disadvantage, especially like you said, a team like us that we can hit a lot of home runs. If it's a 2-3 run game and we're going in the bottom of the fifth and we got 7 home runs left, then it's a wrap. I mean, we can hit those like it's no problem. I mean, you could be up. I mean, I think a few years ago, I think we were playing Premier, and Premier was up on us like 5 or 6, and we left them on the field. Same thing. That was back when it was the 10 run rule. But yeah, I mean, that's a huge advantage is being home in the open, at least.
So I don't like to spend anybody else's money. I don't know the financials, but I do agree with this. So I would say like maybe C and lower, if you want to play in the open, it would be free, but it's got to be the same roster. And I think you might get more teams that way. So I wonder if you'd get, 30 teams that way. I'm not sure how many you'd get.
Yeah.
I wonder if it'd be more financially better if you get those teams in versus, losing, 10 entry fees or whatever it might be. So that would be something if I were the park, I would at least look into. And then I think that'd make it better, right? Like you'd see upsets from, E teams, B teams, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think the problem you run into that is then you run into scheduling issues because you might have that C team or that D team you have every C, D, and E team probably going to play in the open if it was free. Let's be honest. It's more Metro games. But that would be a scheduling nightmare for Bradney and whoever else to try to schedule around open games and C games and D games. Then you'd probably run into the thing to where you would have to pick and choose. So then you're right back in the same boat of, obviously a D team's going to probably pick to play in their D than they would in the open at that point. So then I think you run into kind of even a bigger mess than that. But I mean, I think the discount, I think, is the big thing. I think you get a lot more teams if they discounted it. If you play in, your division, then you can play in the open for $150, or whatever. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think you could do it where you have certain nights are open, especially if you have that many teams, right? Like Mondays are open, Wednesdays are open, because you have enough teams to make it full. So that would be my counterpoint to that. And by the time you get towards the end, I think most of those teams are gone anyway. So
true, that's very true too.
Yeah, so it was just a thought of mine. I think it'd be interesting. I think the Metro Open is the best tournament there. Because for us, we're playing the same 6 teams anyway. What difference does it mean? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
The Metro Open is where everybody plays each other. I think that's the more interesting thing.
Yeah, I mean, it'll always, in my opinion, be the most nostalgic tournament in the country. I mean,
right.
It just is what it is. I mean, even like when we were traveling and playing in the conference, I mean, people hear about this Metro all over the place, and everybody's like, "Oh man, I got to come in one year and play, and I need to come and see it." Like the Amish kids. They were asking if they could bring their whole team in. I said, you guys are never allowed to play in the Metro. You guys stick to your little tournaments out there in Indiana. I said, let me have this one. I don't want to play those kids ever. So, but, yeah, I mean, it's a great tournament. I'm excited for it. Can't wait. Actually, the Metro, I think, starts Saturday in the Industrial and Church. So
yeah, she sent it over.
50 and over.
50 and over, too? We'll be there before you know it, too, Rhino.
Phew. I don't know. I won't be able to walk in 10 years, man.
We say that, but then next thing you know, we'll blink our eyes and we'll be probably having this podcast saying the same thing about 16 over.
I love the Metro. My only complaint about the Metro is like on a Thursday night, I want to park my chair on field 4 and watch 6 straight open games. But it's hard to do that now because you got the co-ed and other divisions and stuff like that. That would be my only complaint is to keep the open 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30 on field 4. But I know it's not possible the way they've got stuff set up now.
I've talked to Nikki about that in the past. The other big thing is I always liked in the previously where you would go to the drawing, you would get your game time, and then you get your second game time whether you won or lost that first game. But you never knew what field you were on. And then what they would do is go back in and look and say, okay, I mean, look, this could be a potential EMR versus Watanabe second round game. We're going to make sure we put that on field 4 at 9 o'clock on Saturday, stuff like that. So that way, and it's nothing against the lower teams at all or anything like that. But I mean, people are going to sit around and watch, especially the old school people like Dave Watanabe and all them that are going to be coming this year. They're going to want to watch high caliber open softball on that field 1 and field 4. I mean,
Right.
that's how it's always been.
I mean, could you imagine an EMR Watanabe on field 5? I mean,
I think one year we played Premier. Maybe Premier played on 5 and we played on 6 on like a Friday or Saturday night. Nobody even know we played the game. Like we came in, they're like, "Oh, what time you guys play?" Well, we just finished over on 6. Nobody knew. So that's I mean, I hate to say that because I want it to all be fair and even for everybody, but that's always been kind of the nostalgic thing. I think I brought this up before on the last time I was here about Danny Saylor and the first Metro I played in 07 with International House of Carpet, and we knocked off Dog Pack, and the Dog Pack was scheduled. That next game was scheduled to play on field 1, the one to the left, and that used to be the show field. And they switched it because we won, and we had to go play on field like 4 or 3 or whatever it was. And I remember going up to Danny, and I'm like, Danny, I said, how can I do it? Why are we not playing on this field? I said, why can't we play on the show field? He goes, that one's for the good teams. That's what he told me. So that ticked me off, and I remember that, and it actually kind of gave me the drive to. I remember being like, I'm going to play on this field one day. That was my big thing when I first started, was making sure I could play on that show field.
Did you win one with International House of Carpets?
No, we I only played that 1 year with them, and then the following year I hopped on with Pure Romance, and I think that 08 we finished second, right behind Watanabe, knocked us off in the finals, and then I don't think I was actually thinking about this. I don't know when the first time I won one. I think we won the A with Pure Romance 1 year, and then we won that they did that Elite or whatever it was, where we had like the Team Cincinnati team, and we won that one, and then we went on the Open one about 6-7 years ago is when we started running through those. So it's been a good run. Makes me nervous. I'm actually nervous this year. We're getting old. It's starting to show. So
you don't remember your first one, huh?
I want to say honestly, my first one was like an industrial one. If you really want to,
yeah, those don't really count. Those don't count.
But I think it was the A with Pure Romance was the first one. I couldn't tell you what year it was. They all blend together anymore. I have to look at the sign.
2008.
It wasn't 08. 08 we finished second. I remember that. I want to say it was like maybe 12 or 13, like somewhere around there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I know the 1 year, there was a few years where we couldn't play the second weekend because it coincided with the last chance up in Michigan for the conference. So we always had to get people to come play, like add-ons to come play for us, and hoping that they could get through a game or two until we got back. But I'm so glad they don't do that anymore. I'm glad the conference and the Metro aren't the same weekends anymore. So that's actually a big thing for us this year too, because now Phil Matt and Reckart and all them, Seattle's this weekend, so instead of being the second weekend, which is nice.
I don't remember what year my first one was, but I remember who it was with. In EAP, we won the A. And yeah, when we won it, you'd have thought we won the World Series, man. It was.
I remember
jumping on everybody on the field. It was surreal.
I mean, even now, even after winning a handful of them, kind of almost back to back, I still get excited about it. I mean, even last year, for us to come back and double dip the Tropics was huge. I mean, and we did it. Nobody was going to beat us that night. I mean, once we got through the Tiger Fitness game, I knew we were going to roll through it at that point, just because that was kind of our catch game there, coming out flat and everything, and we ended up getting through that one. Then I think we had to beat Prime Time, and then had to double dip Tropics, and we came out like gangbusters the first game, and I knew it. I was like, the second game we're going to come out hot, and we did. We put up a big number in the first, and even with the big run roll, you still get excited. I still like the first one, so hopefully we can. I'm in 4 Metros this year, so hopefully I can go 4 for 4.
Which ones?
Industrial this weekend.
Which team?
It's Volpenheim Electric.
I'll pull it up.
I think that's who it's with. It's with Mike Martin. I know it's like me and Bruns. I think. I don't know who else he has on it, but we're going for that one. Then obviously, here we go. There it is. We play. I can't even read that.
Pro Impact.
What time do we play? Does that say midnight?
10 a.m.
Oh, this said 12 a.m.
I told you you're getting old. I'm gonna make it bigger for you.
I mean, nobody could read that. I don't care who you are.
I can read it.
Well, I bet you could. Yeah, there you go. So we'll see what happens there. So that'll be the first one, and then the 35 and over upper with the Living Legends again, which I'm actually excited for this year because my brother gets to play with me. He just turned 35, so he's the diamond in the rough that nobody knows about. Arguably twice as good as I ever was. So,
am I in charge of that team? I think I am, right?
are you?
I think so.
There we go. Gotta win another one for you, Fly.
I remember my first one. It was last year.
How
When
many
was
did you go through before you had to win one?
Well, if this is year 17, that would be 16, right?
You haven't got one yet?
I got one last year. It was,
Last year was your first one.
oh, yeah, last year.
Well, there
Yep,
you
we won
go.
the A.
That was the only thing you hadn't won yet, right?
Yeah, and I think that was the one we were the longest shots in I've ever been in.
Yeah, because you guys were not playing well going into that tournament.
Nope. And we're the only team that didn't score 20 runs in that bracket.
Mhm.
Weird how that worked out, but it did. So then
Industrial,
yeah,
35 and over upper, open, and the upper co-ed.
upper co-ed.
Yeah, that's with bellies, so I'll get to play with Faith in that, which will be fun. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sure she'll yell at me for something.
Why?
Just because she's my biggest critic, so I'm sure she'll wear me out if I make an error and tell me I suck and all this stuff, like she always
Well,
does.
I mean, arguably she is better than you, so
I'll give her that. She is arguably better than me. So I mean, even she'll watch the games when I'm in the conference, and I'll get a phone call after, like, "What the f are you even thinking about doing there? Like, what are you doing? Like, just wearing me out, like in the car." And my teammates are like, "Jesus, is she like that all the time?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's just toughest critic. I don't mind it at all."
So speaking of co-ed, wasn't there some co-ed controversy this past weekend or something on a Sunday?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'll never understand why people get upset with park managers for trying to help people out and get things going. We'll leave it at that.
I can't imagine. I never dreamed that co-ed would be a big deal in softball. Like when I first started, you played co-ed because you tried to get laid on a Sunday, and you picked the 4 or 5 hottest girls you could find, and you played in a co-ed league. Now co-ed is super competitive, and people get bent out of shape when the stuff doesn't happen. I never dreamed that it would get as big as it is.
Yeah, and I'm glad it does. I mean, it's a cool thing. And it's good because I feel like it's tough for women's to have a lot of opportunities to play around here.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean, other than maybe 1 or 2 league nights a week, there's not a lot of women's tournaments for the most part. So I think co-ed, that was kind of what the co-ed was made for, was that. And like what you said, Rhino, I'm sure that was a big part back in the day too. So, but yeah, I mean, I've never really been real big into co-ed, just because I don't know. I'm always worried. Like even when I was younger, I was always worried like hitting a girl or doing something like that. I mean, I think the last time I played in the co-ed Metro was in the COVID year, the 2020 year. I remember just taking an outside pitch for the strikeout, because in the middle of the pitch, I'm like, I can't swing at this, because if I missed it, I knew I'd hit it. It was a girl pitch, and I was like, I just don't want to do it. I just took the strikeout. But there's some really good girls now, though. So
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I first started playing, the girls, athletic wise, they're nothing like they are now.
Mm-hmm. And the secret to co-ed and being a good co-ed team is the girls.
Yep, absolutely.
If you don't have good girls, it's tough to win.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy there's actually a team around here that's doing well, on the national level and all that. But that's a tough pill for me to swallow, seeing somebody complain about, rain canceling a tournament and him trying to just do anything and creating a round robin, and that coinciding with co-ed bash and people getting mad about that. Like, when else were you supposed to play? There's no other time to play. I saw somebody read that they should have played throughout the week. Like, you can't play a tournament throughout the week. That would never happen. So I don't know.
We're about to do it.
Well, the Metro's different. Like something like the bash, where you have teams that potentially can come from out of town and all that. Metro's more obviously a local city tournament. That's what it's always been. It's evolved a little bit since then, but yeah.
So yeah, I got a co-ed story. I was asked to play, and I'm like you. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I'm like, I get it there. I'm like, where am I allowed to hit it? And they're like, dude, just hit it wherever. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna hit it between the second baseman and the pitcher. Is that all right? And they're like, yep. So I do that, and I typically hit it harder than people realize, and it goes through there. And they're like, hey man, can't be hitting it there. So I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm out of here.
Where was this at?
Spoils.
I figured that was either Spoils or the Triple Creek days.
Yeah, I was with Joe Fry, Aunt, Wegman's wife, and I think it was Kessler's wife too.
Yeah.
That whole crew. So I don't think I ever went back after that because I don't know what to do. I don't know where to play. I don't know where to hit it. So I'm good.
That's another good tournament though for codes. That Denny Bueller.
Yeah,
It's always been a fun tournament back in the day.
that Burke offer.
Burke.
Yeah, invitation.
I don't know how they don't have a copper statue of Burke out front of Spoils.
They will.
To me, eventually it's going to have to happen.
Raising funds still for sure.
So I just actually got to hang out with Burke and Chuck. Chuck got us down on the field for that celebrity all-star softball game at Florence Yawls with like Joe Mixon and all them. So I got some quality Burke time in on Thursday.
Did you get my jersey signed for me?
Who? Me?
Chuck.
I don't. Who knows? Chuck went and bought a bunch of stuff, thinking that other people were going to be there and they didn't show up. I thought at one point Chuck was going to go try to pitch in the middle of the game. I really did.
Yeah, I can see that. Doing the windmill, throwing some blood saws. Yeah, I can
Sprinkler or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought for sure he was going to. So, but nah, it was fun. I'm glad Chuck got us down there. It was a good time. It was fun seeing all those professional football players look like they've never thrown a ball their whole life.
Yeah, my Ann, my wife, she was like, "Why don't you want to go down there and watch that?" I was like, "I don't like watching bad softball."
If the fences were about 150 feet,
yeah,
which I thought that was going to be super dangerous. Joe Mixon played third, even with the bag, and they had 50-foot bases. And I'm like, if any of these dudes know how to hit a softball, they're going to be the most hated person in Cincinnati when they knock out Joe Mixon for the year. I thought for sure something like that was going to happen. But really, there's like 2 home runs. There's only 2 people that hit over 150 feet the whole time, which was like Mixon hit 1 or 2, and then Icky Woods had his son come pitch hit for him because he couldn't walk anymore. So he hit 1, which I think he probably played softball because he hit it, and when he hit it, he just turned around and walked back to the dugout. So I'm like, Kess was like, that dude's played softball before just because he knew what to do. The rest of the guys are all running bases and everything. But it was fun. We got to hang out with the FC Cincinnati, that Luciano Acosta. He played.
no idea.
Yeah, he's actually tonight he's the MLS All-Star captain.
Hell yeah!
So I guess he's one of the top players in the MLS. He's all 5'2" of them. So
All 5'2" is that all he was?
Oh, he's a little bitty guy. Kessa's got a picture. It looks like father son. He's towering over him. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun to see all those Bengals, and like I said, old Bengals, David Fulcher, Ricky Woods, all those guys.
Well, Fulcher used to sponsor that Paradise team.
He played on Paradise.
Yeah.
So you can still tell that he can still play a little bit, even at his old age, but still in decent shape. Poor Icky, I didn't think Icky was going to be able to. I thought they were going to have to carry him off the field. He was just walking around. He actually had a guy, when he swung and hit it, he'd have a kid run to first for him, which I think, you know what? There's a great rule, Fly. That's what they should do for 40 and over. That'd be perfect. I'll be
40 and over?
40 and over is perfect.
You should be able to get the first base still 40 and over, I think.
And I'm in for that. Let me swing and somebody else run for me. That's
I used
perfect.
to love running
That's
back.
perfect.
I used to love running bases, sliding and doing all that. Now it's like get on first. I'm like, man, this is the worst part of the game. Just running.
Shoot, now listen, when I get to first base and I don't get a runner, you want to talk about disappointment on my face. It's bad.
That's why you started pitching right there, so you don't have to.
Right.
There you
if
go.
all the that and the fact that I got a torn rotator cuff in both arms, yeah. Just somebody run for me.
Yeah.
Just let me hit.
So you want to talk 35 and over? Well, we got a couple minutes left.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't even know who's on our team, Fly. I know it's my brother, me, and Kess. I think that's all I really know. I think we got Head. Roger Drake's there.
So why do you enjoy it?
The 35 and over?
Yeah.
Because I'm the young guy again. That's why. That's actually it's competitive, But for some reason, it's almost like it reminds me of the old times that we played. Maybe it's because it's the people we played when we first started, but it's more laid back, but it's still competitive at the same time. There's not a whole lot of arguing for the most part, and like I said, it's a fun time. And plus, and like I said, this year's gonna be really fun because I get to play with my brother, which is the first time I've done that in a long time. So,
where's he playing?
He'll be playing center field.
Oh, okay. I was wondering who the center fielder was.
Yeah, he'll be running around the center.
We got Pomfrey too, so I didn't know if it was gonna be Pomfrey or who was gonna do it.
Yeah, hopefully Pomfrey can step out of the gym for 15 minutes and come play with
that
us.
dude's 35. He's in pretty good shape to be 35.
Yeah.
See all
I didn't ever look like that at 35.
No,
Ever.
absolutely not.
Is Kessler playing the outfield? Do you know?
I'm sure he'll go out there. Kess will be out there for a little bit, but who knows?
Feeling?
Head.
Oh, that's right, head. Yeah, I like
Head
that.
pitch.
All
So
right.
other than that, I think we might have Gribble again.
Yeah, I'm
right?
pretty sure we do.
So Gribble's real good. I'm sure Opie will be back. I'll get my one time a year I get to see Opie.
Opie.
Yeah.
Adam Bollinger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still killing it. So
where are you playing?
We'll see. I'm sure probably short or second.
Okay.
So.
Oh, no Opie.
No Opie.
No Opie. I don't know who said it, but James. James said it. All right. Anything else, boys? That's about all I got.
Speaking of your brother, man, so this year's the first. I finally won my appeal. And like I said, the whole reason that I've been appealing all these years is so I can play with my brother in the 35 and over Metro.
Uh-huh.
So I finally won my appeal. So now we've got like 6 family members playing in the 35 and over lower. We're probably not going to be any good, which is fine. But at least I find that my dad gets to sponsor the team. He's going to be in the dugout. I get to play with my brother, my cousins, and things like that. So yeah. I'm looking forward to the 35 and over Metro.
That's the best part. Yeah, I play Monday Church League at West with my brother and my dad. So it's fun too because we usually hit like back to back to back. So there's just 3 Bellamy's in a row.
Right.
And still to this day, I think my dad's still the best one of all 3 of us.
Nice.
At 62 years old or whatever he is now. So, but yeah, I mean that's the older you get, that's kind of the best part of it. And honestly, that's the best part of the Metro. Going back to that, playing in the Open, I get to play with all my buddies that I get to play against every weekend. So it's nice to get to come back and play with all my buddies again. So.
All righty. Anything else? Right.
That's all I got.
All right.
We'll see most of you Tuesday night for draw night.
Heck yeah, steak, hoagies, and corn.
All right. I'll be
there
there
for the next 2 weeks.
See you guys.
See you guys.